Yo, what's up, guys? Back for another stream. I'm doing my best to keep up this fucking every other day streaming cadence. I had a bit of a crazy day today, so I'm sorry that I didn't get to this earlier. I just had a lot on the go, wasn't able to get this done as early as I wanted, and I am flying out on a little trip tomorrow. So I have to keep this one a little bit shorter, probably only gonna be an hour instead of an hour and a half, 2 hours. But let's make it jam-packed. I think last stream was full of alpha. We went over the Monday's range strategy. We went over a whole bunch of stuff, and not a ton has happened. So we talked about kind of a couple of setups that we'd be looking for, that we'd be monitoring to see if we could get an entry for the next move. And now not much has happened, right? We're still sitting within this range here, and we haven't taken out Monday's high, nor have we taken out Monday's low. So there's not always going to be a Monday's range trade. One of the things that immediately happened after last stream is I had over 10 people message me. One guy went and back tested Monday's range on Bitcoin, and he took every single one. And he said, I didn't make money. And then I had another guy immediately send me another thing where he was trying to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I had a few people message me saying, well, like, hey, nothing's running Monday's lower high. What do I do? So I want to be very clear, guys. Monday's range, it's not going to print every week. It's not going to work every single week, okay? It's going to work sometimes, but it's a framework of a strategy. It's not enough to be able to say, okay, well, every time, the fuck you with the fucking thing, fucking motherfucker. Every time, right, you have Monday's low, let's say here, and Monday's high and Monday's low, right? So it's Monday high, okay? And this is Monday's low. If trading was as easy as every time it does this, it's guaranteed to go here. Every time it does this, it's guaranteed to go here. I wouldn't be live streaming for you right now, okay? Because I would have solved the fucking puzzle and be able to print infinite money forever. This is a framework of a strategy, okay? What am I giving you here when I tell you we have Monday's low, Monday's high? Right? If we sweep Monday's low, reclaim, what am I giving you? I'm giving you an entry, a stop, and a bias. We want a long, the reclaim, stop below the deviation, and the bias is up, target is above us, okay? When you are doing your trading checklist, before you enter a trade, right, you need to have a checklist of things that you need to go through, okay? The first thing, in my opinion, that you need to determine before you enter a trade is your daily bias. This is assuming you're day trading, okay? If you're swing trading, maybe it's your bias on the weekly, the monthly, the 3-day chart, but you need a bias. Are we going up or are we going down? Because without this, you have nothing. You might see a setup, oh, it retested an order block. But if your bias is down, why are you buying a bullish order block? Okay? So without bias, you have nothing. Once you have your bias figured out, okay, now you need to do your top-down analysis. Okay? So what is this? Marking out your levels, right? Levels, order blocks, breakers, fair value gaps from the high time frame to the low time frame. It's mapping out where we are in price. Is everything lined up? Am I at high time frame support and looking for longs? That makes sense. Am I at high time frame resistance and looking for longs? That doesn't make as much sense, right? After you do your top-down analysis, now you need to actually look for your entry trigger, right? How am I actually getting in? Where's my entry? Next up, where's your inval, your stop? Next up, where's your target? And then all of these really come from here, right? At the top down, this all comes from here. And then, of course, does the RR, is it good? So let's say you do your top-down analysis. You say we're going up. We're at, the levels are checked. I've got my entry, my stop, my target, but the risk reward is 0.5. Are you going to take that trade? No, right? So if you're looking for a setup, you need to have this checklist of things. And if you use indicators or you use whatever, right? Maybe, okay, am I using an oscillator? Is there a divergence, right? Are all the things that you need to be comfortable to put money behind a trade happening? So if it was easy as just saying, well, Monday's low got run, I'm going to long, it's going to work every time, then I would be the richest man on planet Earth. You still need to do those other things, right? If you're taking a Monday's low reclaim, but the high time frame directional bias is down, this might still work, but the probability is less. So it still requires discretion. It still requires context. A lot of people want to have a mechanical strategy and be like, I'm a robot. I do this every single time, and it works every single time. Discretion is always part of it. It's always going to be part of it. And you need to have additional context outside of this. What this is a basic framework to start you getting comfortable in figuring out, okay, I have a bias. I have an entry. Okay, so if you're just going to go and test Monday's range on every single fucking setup for the last year, it's probably not profitable if you're just only using Monday's range. But if you combine Monday's range with some of the other stuff we talk about in these streams, daily bias, top-down analysis, right? Order blocks, breakers, sweeps, that's going to increase the probability, the win rate, and ultimately the profitability of that strategy. This is meant to be a tool in your toolkit, not the be-all, end-all. I only need to look for Monday's range, and I'm going to fucking be a profitable trader. Of course, it's not that easy. But I appreciate the excitement that some of you have shown by getting right into the charts and testing it out. But remember, you need other stuff going on as well. Right? Longs in a downtrend, less probability. Shit like that. Yeah, what up, Face? How you doing, G? Are we long in altcoins like Tom Brady highlight reel? I mean, I titled the video UPril because I think that there's a chance that we're going to potentially rip still. Now, ideally, what I wanted to see was Monday's low get run and us fill in that CME gap. That can still happen. It can still happen. We can still come down, fill in the CME gap that is sitting below here. So I'm not completely discounting that can happen, but we didn't really get a setup above Monday's high or above Monday's low. Now, does that mean there were no trades in here? Of course not. I see two very obvious trades here. The first trade, in my opinion, was a short trade. So we had the sweep of this high. Then we had the structure break right there. Then we had the retest of the breaker. That short paid at least 2R down towards the range low. Then we had this run of the lows, right, into H1OB, and now we're getting a bounce. And then we had another order block there, and we're getting a bounce. So there was some trades here, and I still think that there's a possibility that we do something like this or just do something like this from here. So sometimes that means you're not in a trade. You don't need to rush into a trade. There's not always going to be a trade that presents itself. High time frame, I still think that there's a chance that Bitcoin can push up above 90K and come tag this yearly open. I still like the idea that this little bounce isn't quite done yet. Now, we talked about this last video. If we do roll over here, I still would be looking for a move up with like some kind of over-under, or even potentially a third drive down, put in some sort of bullish divergence. I still think all of those things are possible. I still think there's a chance that we trade up to here before potentially ever trading down to here. But for now on the low time frame, unless you were taking really low time frame trades here, like the hourly, there was no setup that kind of jumped out at me, and I was like, okay, I got to get in this trade. Okay. Ethereum, same thing. Did not run either side of the range. Solana did run Monday's range. So you could argue that, hey, there's your break above. Your break back within is right here. Stop above the deviation. Target those lows there. I mean, this thing ran for over 2R. Could it continue down? Sure. But after it ran out these lows, I'd probably have taken some off. So there you go. That's Monday's range right here. So did it play on Bitcoin? No. But it played out on Solana. I also think it played out on the S&P. Yeah. Look at this. Right? Stop. Your entry. Target. So entirety of Monday's range played out here. Someone's saying fart coin, it paid out. Fart coin, it played out to the downside twice. It ran Monday's low. I mean, that's a giga tight entry there. Traded up. Ran the low again. Traded back up. So there was trades where it worked. It just didn't happen to play out on Bitcoin. It didn't even take either of the levels. Again, though, everything requires context. It's not going to be as easy as trading Monday's range every single week and you're guaranteed to find a setup. All right, guys. What's up, Sir La Tepez? Locos Pantalones. Fucking precisely, bro. Precisely. What's up, Treeborn Frog? Jonah. There you go, bro. Congrats. Nice trade. Base Chocobo. What's up, dude? Knight. EAP charts 90K end a week. That'd be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet. I mean, we obviously need to see equities here. For what it's worth, I closed the majority of my trade. Here, look, though. We've now traded above Monday's high, and now we're back in Monday's low. Maybe we go back up. We filled some of this gap. Remember, I talked about this. I said, hey, Bitcoin and equities have a gap. We filled some of that gap now. This is kind of what I was hoping Bitcoin would do. So maybe that's it. Maybe this thing's going to trade one more leg higher. I don't know. Trump's kind of back on the tariff talk. Maybe he's going to chill out. I don't really know. Yeah. Tomaine, it's Monday's range better than previous week's candles range. They're just different, but they work the same, right? They work the same. So you can take any sort of, you can find a bazillion fucking types of ranges, right? So like you could say, okay, well, this is last week's high, last week's low. If we take out last week's high, like we are right now, and then fade back within and start closing back within last week's high, you might say, okay, well, now there's a good chance we're going to go to last week's low, right? You could argue that's potentially what's in play here. We took out last week's low, that prior week's low. Maybe we're now going to go take out that last week's high. Again, these are just different ways for you to frame your bias and try and figure out what direction price is going to go. Because no matter how good you are at TA, how good your indicators are, how fucking, dialed in you think you might be with drawing your order blocks and all your bullshit, none of it matters if you can't figure out the direction that price is likely to go next. You need to be able to figure out the direction. This is something I always talk about to you guys, right? One of the most important things is what is the most next likely direction for price? And then we work from there. Max, I see your question. I don't know what you want me to say, bro. I don't have off the top of my head the percentage of my spot bags that I have sold off, dude. Can I apply Monday's range to alts? I just showed you that it worked on Fartcoin and Solana. What's up, Thomas? Yes, like the stream, motherfuckers. BNB did as well. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful Monday's range on BNB. Okay, so like it's going to play out, not on every coin, not every week. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. But it's a very good basic framework to get you guys comfortable with beginning, okay? With beginning to apply price action. Because I think one of the things that is issues for a lot of people is like, you're like, fuck, I need, like, part of learning is actually getting in the fucking trades. Like, you got to enter some trades, dude. You got to know what it's like to be in profit, to be underwater. You got to know what it's like to be in the game. And so I hope teaching you stuff like this gives you the confidence to say, okay, I know everything I need to know to enter a trade and to risk some money here. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to journal my results. I'm going to see what's working, what's not working. Big Daddy Main's trying to just mentor you all to profitability. So help me God, okay? I've literally helped hundreds of people become profitable traders, and you guys are lucky enough to have me for at least till the end of this market cycle, at the very least. Maybe longer, maybe not. So as many of you as fucking possible, I'm going to try and get you over the hump so you can start feeling confident in taking trades based on your analysis. I had a guy DM me. It might be the guy from Twitch, Jonah, but I had someone DM me saying, hey, I'm taking this trade on Solana, and it paid. Like, that's the shit I want to see. I don't want to fucking have you, like, do I give you the sauce? Do I give you stop entry targets sometimes and do all the work for you? Yes, I do sometimes, okay? And that's fine. But let's say tomorrow I'm gone. Okay, this is the problem with just signals, right? So there's a lot of people, this is a really big problem in Forex, is they have signals, right? They're like, oh, join my Telegram and just copy my trade signals and you're going to make money. It's bullshit. First of all, maybe you will. Maybe you will make some money if this person's really good. But if they're taking any sort of low time frame trades, unless you're there in the moment to enter it, likely you might there's a good likelihood that you miss it. It's already played out, and they just are churning people. Education, I believe in, because if I'm gone tomorrow, I want you to still know what you're doing. If you're just saying, hey, I only know how to make money when Maine lays it up for me, when I throw you the alley-oop and you dunk it, what happens when I'm not there to throw the alley-oop anymore? You know what I'm saying? So I need you guys to get to a point, as many of you as I possibly can help, where you are confident in making your own decisions and you're not relying on me or other people on the internet to make trading decisions. Because the problem that we have is a lot of people, especially in the bull run, they think that people know what they're talking about because they're telling people the long and things are going up. But then when things stop going up, that perma bull, all of a sudden, you're now losing money listening to them because they've been telling you to buy the dip on WIF since $4 or on Bitcoin since 110K. And you're getting smoked. And that's not their fault. That's your fault for blindly following them. But what you can do is get to a point where you're now able to make your own decisions. So now when you're on Twitter and you see someone being bullish, you can look at the chart and say, oh, you know what? I agree with that based on this. Or I actually disagree with him based on this, and make your own fucking decisions, right? So we're trying to get as many of you guys as possible to the point that you're making your own fucking money. And that way, whether it's crypto, whether it's fucking whether it's altcoins, Bitcoin, fucking Forex, equities, fucking whatever you're trading, futures, gold, silver, commodities, oil. You can create a strategy that works for you. Right? That's the fucking goal. A lot of people don't share that with you. They don't want to, and I don't blame them. There's absolutely a barrier to entry in trading. A lot of people bogart information. But I would not be where I am today if it were not for the generosity of other people who I learned from. So I'm just trying to fucking pass it along. Okay? There's people who are retired. They don't even post anymore, who I taught how to trade. I was out in fucking Dubai. I met a guy in a boat, and he's like, you made my buddy $10 million. I was like, what the fuck? 10 mil? Where's my tip? How come the tip jar's empty, my guy? But, like, that's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. Max, are you bogarting the percentage of your spot bags you sold far this cycle? No, Max, I'm not. I just don't know the fucking number, bro. I have not sold nearly as much spot as I would have liked to above 100K. So it is what it fucking is. Evil Gemini, I've been watching Maine's videos for 7 years. That's how fucking old I am. I'm 63 years old tomorrow. So make sure you wish me a happy birthday. But I've been watching Maine's videos for 7 years. He's doing the same thing over and over, making money. Watch some of his older educational videos. I absolutely think you should listen to him and watch some of my older educational videos. There's absolute gold mines of information in there, and it's not going to be there forever. Once I make my fucking great escape, whoosh, I'll disappear into the night. Maine the realist? I'm not saying that last word. Nice. You almost got me, Machiavelli. You almost got me, but I'm not saying that word. Okay, so what did we talk about as well? We talked about dollar. Here's a really good, really good lesson for you here, okay? I know I just spit a bunch of alpha. I'm about to fucking spit some more. So listen the fuck up, okay? So there is an inverse correlation between the dollar, okay, and something that is denominated in the dollar, right? So if you have an asset, okay, ass, over USD, okay, just think of the DXY chart as this. So this is DXY, pretty much, okay? Someone's going to be like, oh, the DXY, and fuck you, retard, shut up, okay? Assume that this chart, the DXY, is USD. So when you have an asset that is denominated in the USD, so this is the denominator. Denominator. Okay? This is the numerator. Okay? So if you have a fraction, when the denominator goes up, the entire fraction generally, okay, is going to go down. If the denominator is going up and the numerator is going down, or just the denominator is stronger than the numerator, okay? So if the DXY is going up, there's a good chance that the fraction, this could be BTC USD, this could be Euro USD, is going to go down. Now, this is the same for like ETH BTC. Okay? If ETH BTC is going down, it simply means that Bitcoin is stronger than ETH. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going up or down. It just means that one is stronger than the other. Okay? But it's a fraction. So the euro itself might not be going down per se, But if the dollar is going up more, Euro USD is going to go down because it's a comparison of two assets, right? So I know I always explain the last stream, I'm like, why don't more people follow me? Why aren't more people following me when you got fucking these moon boys who are like, look at my fucking Lamborghini. Bitcoin's going to $1 trillion. I live in fucking Dubai and all I do is fucking smoke hookah and scam people. And then you come onto my stream and I'm explaining grade 5 math. So this is probably why I don't have mass appeal. And that's okay because I got mass. And yeah, I got mass. I'm thick like oatmeal. I tell you guys, I ripped my fucking pants open in the ass squatting at the gym today. First fucking set, I get fucking ass to grass. I just hear fucking asshole slit right open. I finished the fucking entire workout though. Anyways, so I always tell people that there's an inverse correlation between the DXY and Bitcoin. And then the first thing these fucking dummies do is they go, oh, but Trader Main, look here. In this freaking example, dollar went up and fucking Bitcoin went up. So therefore, you're fucking wrong. And I tell you, just say, listen here, you fucking idiot. It's not all the time, okay? But on the whole, the correlation exists, okay? But it's not always a one-to-one inverse correlation. And the correlation coefficient... The correlation coefficient. Why don't I have 100K followers? Correlation coefficient. Who's fucking teaching you this kind of shit? The correlation coefficient isn't always that high, okay? But in currencies, it is way fucking stronger. So if the DXY is bullish, and I tweeted this out, I said DXY is bullish. It just took out a major low. That means I'm bearish on USD denominated pairs, and I'm bullish on USD pairs, on pairs where USD is the numerator. So what does that look like? Okay, well that means Euro USD, I think, goes down. That means USD JPY, I think, goes up. Okay? So how do we put this into fucking practice? We had a monthly fair value gap. So we had 3 straight months of down, 3 red candles in a row. We ran the range high. We pulled back into the range. And now we've taken out a key low into a monthly fair value gap. You zoom into the weekly and you say, okay, we just took out a low on the dollar. And I'm expecting some sort of mean reversion to the upside. So what do I want to look at on Euro USD? You guys came here for crypto, and you're getting fucking Euro USD. And you're going to fucking like it. So if the dollar's taking out a low, I want to see Euro USD potentially taking out a high. And lo and behold, Euro USD at the exact same time that the dollar was taking out a low was taking out a high. Remember our trading checklist? What's the first thing I need? Bias. DXY up. So Euro USD down. Now I've got bias, right? Bang. Okay, let's go to the lower time frames here. Can I find a setup? Right? Can I find a setup now within the context of Euro USD taking out a high? And you can see here, I have a high on the lower time frame taken out. It's that same weekly high. And then I have a breaker here. This is like 101. There's your down candles, okay? Before the up move that took out a high. Then we have a market structure break right here. And then a retest. So this, to me, is an extremely high probability setup. Why? Because it has all of the ingredients that I'd be looking for to take a trade. We have our bias based on the dollar. We took out a high while the dollar was taking out a low. Right? We have our entry pattern, breaker. We have our invalidation above the stop run. We have our target below old lows, low resistance liquidity. The risk reward is over 3. Perfect. Okay? So this is super important to understand. And I know that you're like, well, I don't give a fuck about Euro USD because it's boring. And it's like, well, your fucking sister is boring, but that didn't stop me, did it? Sometimes you just got to get to work and do what needs to be done. And that sometimes means taking a boring ass trade on Euro USD. Okay? But the reason this is so important is because if you understand this concept, okay, you realize that these are interchangeable with anything. This can be ETH BTC. This can be Sol ETH. This can be Starbucks versus Apple. You can compare two of any assets just like this. Okay? And understanding what I've just explained, you can now find way higher probability trades in your crypto trades. So if you look at ETH, right? And you say, okay, well, what is going up more right now? Well, ETH BTC took out a major low. So from March 12th, 2025, would it have been better to have long Bitcoin here or ETH? Right? Well, if you looked at ETH USD alone and Bitcoin USD alone, you might say, okay, well, I want to long Bitcoin for whatever reason, right? You decide, oh, I want to long Bitcoin. But if you had looked at ETH BTC and said, hey, we took out this low here on March 10th, a major low. So ETH BTC took out a major low, which means I think ETH BTC is going to go up. So now if you're looking at ETH USD and BTC USD, which one is going to go up more? Well, if you actually put these fractions over each other, those cancel out. You've just got ETH BTC, which means that if you had to long one of these two, ETH is the faster horse. Okay? ETH is the faster horse. Now, again, like I discussed in the last video, just because it's a faster horse, it doesn't always mean it's a better trade because you might see the setup more clearly elsewhere. But this is how you fucking use cross-market analysis. And I have a playlist in my YouTube called Education where I have 2 or 3 videos going over this, again, in depth. I highly recommend you check that shit out. Okay? So I just fucking splooged fucking alpha all over you guys. That was a fucking bukkake of alpha. And I hope you learned something from it. And then I hope you go on Twitter and share it with people and pretend like you figured it out yourself and give no fucking props to the old boy Maine. Because that's usually what happens. You know what I'm saying? Can I do it on Fartcoin? Yeah. So if you want to long Fartcoin or Solana, you don't know which one to long. You could do, okay, well, I've got Fartcoin USD. Oops. Right? So you got this. Okay. Divided by Sol USD. So what have I created here? I have created a fucking super stinky fart. An alpha fart is what I've created. I've created a chart that is no longer Fartcoin versus the dollar. It's Fartcoin divided by Solana. So if I now look at this chart, right, this is ETH BTC. Hey, well, this chart's bullish. So if you had to long one of these two assets and this is going up, Fartcoin is the stronger asset. They're both going up, but Fartcoin's going up more. Okay? Flashbang. But, like, here's the thing, guys. Like, the only reason I know so much is because I have been doing this shit for quite literally 83 years. I'm as old as LeBron James. That's how long I've been dominating the league. I've been dominating the league since 2003. I've been in the game so long, I played against some of the best players right now. I played against their parents. That's how long I've been dominating. Yo quiero as well. Che quiero, mi amigo. All right, so if you want to now combine some of the stuff I'm sharing with you with what you're already doing, you're going to see an increase in the profitability of your trading. Okay? Use the checklist. Okay? Make sure the checklist is going. Add cross-market analysis as a box. Once you start putting these pieces together, right? That's people are like, well, what's, someone just asked this, oh, when does it click, right? Everyone wants a purely mechanical strategy. It doesn't exist. There's mechanical strategies, sure, but they still require context, some discretion, some nuance. And I'm sharing those things with you, okay? Putting all these pieces together, it's going to take you saying, well, hey, all my trades, I'm only winning 30% of my trades. Okay. Well, I bet you if you improved your top-down analysis and your bias became more accurate, your ability to determine the next direction of price improved, that 30% number is going to go up. And remember, that's what we're aiming for. I'm telling you guys, if you can get 35 to 45%, and you want a minimum of 2 to 2.5 R. This is infinite money right here. Okay? This is your infinite money situation. A win rate of 35 to 45% while your average setup pays out 2 to 2.5 R. And you could print money forever. There's going to be a ton of fucking retards and liars who are like, I win 80% of my trades. No, you fucking don't. Okay? No, you fucking don't. I don't believe you. And if you win 80% of your trades, please DM me. Show me proof that you win 80% of your trades. And I'm not talking about last week. I won 100% of my trades last week. Like, what the fucking do? I mean, over a significant period of time. Like 1,000 trades. If you're winning 80% of your trades over 1,000 trades, you let me know. I'll get you a job. Any fucking trading firm in the world. 80% of your trades. Fucking suck my dick. Liar. Okay? You don't need that. You don't need a 100% hit rate. You don't need an 80% hit rate. You don't even need a 50% hit rate. If you can get 2 to 2.5 R, okay, that's why RR is part of that checklist, and you can win 35% to 45%, because this sounds way more reasonable. It's not, oh, I got to win all my fucking trades. It's, dude, I got to win like a little more than a third of the time. So can you make money like 1 out of every 2.5 trades? Right? If you can do that, you're going to make money with this, with what I'm sharing here. Is it a good time to invest in altcoins for the long term, or should we wait until Bitcoin goes to 70K? It is never a good time to invest in altcoins for the long term. There's periods of time where altcoins are good to invest in for a short term period of time, but most altcoins over a long period of time go to zero. What up? Where's your Billy profile pic? I'm not doing that dumb shit. Unless someone wants to do it for me. I'm way too lazy. What's the primary reason to draw a working range if we hunt for liquidity? This is a great fucking question. So why draw a range, any range, if we're hunting for liquidity? Okay, why say, okay, well, what's the point of having a range if we're just aiming for liquidity? What do you think the range is? It's a high and a low. There's liquidity up here. So when we run that liquidity, where's the next draw on liquidity? Here, which happens to be at the range low. It's helping you frame the market itself. So drawing a working range, the entire point is to help you determine the draw on liquidity. So I could look at this chart with nothing on it and say, okay, well, we just took out this liquidity. So now I think there's a good chance that these highs and potentially this high is the next draw. Okay, I can eyeball that. Okay, we just ran this low. Maybe that's the next draw. But if you use a range, right, it's just doing that for you, right? If this is your range, you say, okay, within this bigger range, we just took out the low. I think now we go to the range high. This is a range. We just took out the range low. Now we go to the high. It's just a way to visualize liquidity. That's all it is. It's like a beginner's way to do it. What do I use to trade FX and futures? I use a variety of different platforms. Coyo Grande is very true. What's good, Trap Money John? Buy Farcoin and hold to $20. Not probably makes more money than anything else. You're probably right, bro. I'm getting cooked on my AU short. I mean, I don't know where you took the short from. Right? Here's when dollar took out the low right there. I still think this thing can dump, bro. I mean, I don't know what your setup is per se. But we've got equal lows here. Right? You got equal lows here. And you got what should be resistance here. Now, there's two ways I see this playing out. Assuming the dollar continues to go up. If the dollar rolls over, this is going to pump, obviously. But if the dollar continues to go up, this either rolls from here or it runs these and then rolls, I think, down into this. It's amazing you're able to do so much with your disabilities, man. I know. It's really impressive. It really is. Can you repeat the trade checklist? Just rewind the video, my G. What's your opinion on reply guys that agree with anything a large account posts just to get their attention? Are they cucks or what? I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, right? Like, one, they could be cucks. They could be bots. Twitter's full of so many bots, dude. There's fucking my comments are, I can't even look at my comments. Most of them are just trash. Right? So there's always that potential situation. But there's also a bit of a cultish aspect to it, right? Like, if you bought Bitcoin, if you bought WIF at $3, okay, and it's trading at 55 cents, anything that anyone posts that is bullish with, you're going to be like, yeah, dude, this guy's like fucking part of it. These are community members, right? They're bag holders. They want anything to make them feel like, okay, well, this guy's got a lot of followers. He must know what he's talking about, and he's bullish on my coin. You got to realize almost, I would say 90% of the people on Twitter are retarded. But like 10% are super fucking smart. Like, I'm retarded, bro. Like, I'm not, like, I don't get, like, there's some giga smart people on Twitter. But, like, Twitter, anyone can just say anything, right? And there's basically zero accountability. Some of the biggest scammers just are still tweeting, and time has gone by, and people have forgotten about what they did. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Hayden Davis fucking comes back to Twitter and people fucking forget about it in 6 months. Like, people like short attention span, right? And people can just say anything. With YouTube, it's kind of the same, but like you see a lot of crypto accounts with huge followings, but they don't get a lot of views anymore because I feel like after a while, like to watch someone's video, you got to want to watch it. You got to find what they're saying is interesting or entertaining at the very least. Whereas Twitter, like, you know, it's so easy to fucking send out fucking Bitcoins going up and get a bunch of likes. Maine, would you think turning to Forex during bearish crypto times is a good strategy? I think shorting Bitcoin is a really good strategy. But once volatility dries up, then yeah, you can fucking look at other stuff. Bullish H12 MSB on Bitcoin. I did see this. So in theory, there is a bullish sweep there. Yeah, I mean, technically this setup's already in play here, right? Like, so the entry's kind of already moved away, right? I would have wanted to enter here on this retest. That's the breaker. So, yeah, I mean, this is probably was a really good little trade here if you were paying attention. All right? Just to the high is basically 2R. Main, are breakers and OBs still valid if price spikes through it? When do you look at your OB or breaker and think it might not be as strong? Ideally, you don't want to see a close through it. A spike through it, you could argue it's still good, but you want to see it get respected. You do not really want to see it close through it. I told you to bet on the Suns, and they're down 30. Godspeed. I'm glad I ignored you. That H1 high is getting smoked. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, brother. Are there any other markets you'd turn to trade when crypto dries up? I mean, maybe, yeah, like some FX, some commodities. But when the market's slow, it's really nice to fucking not have to trade. You know, like crypto, especially when it's going crazy, it's exhausting. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a break. You know what I mean? But there's always a market out there that's going up or down or sideways. There's always something volatile. The casino never closes. I gave you 2 UFC picks and they both lost. You guys suck. When picking an order block, how do you know which one to pick? I think you should go watch my video called Order Blocks on my YouTube channel. That's probably a great idea. Do you trade different systems when price is trending versus crabbing? I change certain things. My system doesn't really change. Like I use price action, but sometimes I'll use different time frames, right? Like when price is going sideways, it's really easy to use, you know, the H12, H1 because you got these big ranges to work with. But when price is like aggressively trending up, sometimes you don't get high time frame retests. Like, so if you're looking for like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy weekly order blocks here. Well, like so many of these, you know, don't get tagged. That one did, right? But like you might be waiting forever. Out of 4 of them, only 1 actually ever got tagged. So you might have to zoom in. So generally when price is trending super hard, zooming in is a good solution. Hello from Vietnam. What up, bro? Do you ever use trend lines? Like, not really. Like, I only use trend lines in instances like on, I think I have a better bonk chart. So like on bonk here, like if the trend line lines up really well with like an order block like this, I'll be like, okay, if we reclaim this and this becomes like, you know, an interesting area to me. But really what I'm focused on is the order block. My issue with diagonals is they're subjective because it's like, is this the trend line? Like, is this it? Is it from this wick to this wick to here? Right? Or is it, what about if it's this wick and then that changes it a little bit? Or what if it's, if you use the candle bodies? Like, do I use the candle, like, there's just a lot of subjectivity to trend lines. Whereas horizontal lines, it's like, okay, like the line is like fucking, like this is the line. You know what I mean? You can't really fuck with it. So it all depends, but I'm not saying trend lines don't work. I know lots of people who use trend lines. All I can say, and this goes for everything, how you use swings. Do you use 5 candles for a swing or 3? Trend lines, order blocks, whatever you use, just once you do it one way, do it the same way every time. Have consistency, or else your system is going to be, you know, worthless because there's no consistency in the data. Maine, come back to Byron Bay. I do not have a Australia trip anytime soon, but my best friend does live there now, so I'm sure I'll be back eventually. I've been traveling a lot the last couple of years, man. Like a lot. So I kind of am just like stoked to just chill. What's your opinion on this Ethereum RWA? I have no idea what you're even talking about. So there you go. Yo, Maine, I have a degree in architecture. Can I trade with it? Yeah, dude, you can trade it in for a job application at McDonald's. Fucking architecture. Go be an architect, bro. How many are you chasing a month? I mean, listen, if I can get fucking like 10, it would be unfucking believable. But like 2 R a week is ideally amazing. Do you think ICT traders can move the markets? What a fucking retarded question. What are you even talking about? Juan Pablo Marin says, good night, my brother Maine. Thanks for everything. Cuyo Grande. Mucho gracias, amigo. Mucho gracias. Where's my favorite place to snowboard? Revelstoke. All right, guys. I know that this video's been a little bit shorter than usual, and there's just not a lot to discuss. I still think that price can trade higher. I still think we're kind of just in this little consolidation here. This can break up potentially here to end the month. I'm still watching if we do get a move like this for a potential long down here. But yeah, I'm still leaning potentially bullish for now. So that's all I really got. I'm headed out of town for a couple of days. I'll bring my laptop with me. So the next video you get from me will probably be just like a pre-recorded video. But if you guys want to support the boy, you know how to do it. All the info in the description. Use some of my shit. Leave me likes, comments, retweets on Twitter. Take clips. I'm going to get the WAP set up tomorrow. So if you submit clips, you can get paid. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here because I've been trying to stay on the grind and get a bunch of streams out. So hopefully, even though this one wasn't super like, hey, let's look at a bunch of random coins, hopefully you learned something in each one of these. I genuinely mean it, guys. I want to help as many of you guys as possible become self-sufficient. Once you learn the skill of trading and you have the ability to make money on your own, it will change your life. And I don't necessarily mean that you're going to become a multimillionaire, but it can change your life in many ways. If you can make an extra couple $1,000 a month right? Like that can change your life. That's all of a sudden your rent or a part of some of your bills or, some food costs or just maybe a vacation or savings fund now that you have extra income. Now, to preface, and I would love to get as many of you there to that life-changing point as possible. Doesn't always mean making millions. Now, to preface this, I genuinely believe most people will never become profitable. I know that's really hard to hear, right? And someone in the chat earlier was like, you should just tell them to buy spot. I do. I do think that you should just buy spot. I think buying spot makes way more sense for the majority of people, and you'll probably end up with more money at the end of the day just buying spot over time. Time in the market is way easier than timing the market, okay? So just buying spot and waiting and holding on and accumulating on dips, not just crypto, but equities and whatever, and then having time, 10, 15 years go by, 5 years go by. Look at how cheap Bitcoin was 5 years ago. If you would have just bought some and held it and done nothing, you probably have more money than you do now, right? That being said, I understand the reason many of you watching is because you want to become profitable traders. And I'm not saying you can't. You can. You absolutely can. Most people fail, not necessarily because it's hard, but because they give up, because it takes a lot of work, repetition, consistency, showing up, taking the risks. That's the part that people fuck up, right? It's not the TA. TA is not that hard. It's doing it enough times to build out an edge in a system and then sticking to that and being disciplined. So I know that's why many of you are here, and I understand, and I'm going to keep sharing, and hopefully I can get you guys to a point where you can consistently make a little bit of money, right? Because that will change your life. I'm not saying it's not always about being a millionaire. One of the most frustrating things about the internet right now, and I'm considering doing a video on this because I do want to grow my YouTube. Something that I'm very interested in is like a new challenge. And it seems like there's this like meta on YouTube, and it's every single video is like some kid who's 18 to like 22, and they live in either Dubai or LA or Miami, and it's the same video. It's like, my life is a fucking 20-year-old millionaire. I trade crypto, I do drop shipping, I do copywriting, and they all drive a leased Lamborghini, and they've got like a fucking date-just Rolex, and they're making 20, 30K a month, and they're just like, my life's amazing, dude. I'm going out to fucking Delilah and Poppy Steak, and I'm fucking whipping it on a yacht that I've rented with like 10 other of my friends. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to shit on these guys because, for one, like, I wish I was on that money grind when I was that age. Okay, I wish. But I think that, as well as Twitter, and like this is the stuff you're bombarded with on Instagram, on Twitter. Oh, this guy's making millions here. That life-changing money means something different for everybody, right? Like if you got a wife and kids, you can't be taking the same risks as a 20-year-old. But are you telling me $5,000 a month might not change your life? Does that mean that, hey, maybe my wife doesn't have to work as much, she can spend more time at home? Maybe that's a mortgage helper. It's adding, we're paying down the principal of our mortgage faster. That's life-changing, right? We've perverted the word life-changing to mean like you made $10 million and you never got to work again, right? So I do want to expand my YouTube and do a video kind of talking about this because I'm quite successful, right? I've made tons of money. I've had successful businesses. I've got fancy cars. I've done all that shit. Fly first class, go on. Yeah, I've done all of it, okay? But I'm not 22. I'm older. I'm fucking 61. Next week, but there's still time, right? I don't want everyone to feel, because I think a lot of people get discouraged, right? They get discouraged because they see like this image of success that they think is success. A lot of these people are renting their lifestyle, and what if that money dries up? What are they going to do then, right? But if you can build a skill like trading with the stuff I'm sharing with you, okay, it can change your life one way or another. And like I said, I've got people who I've taught to trade who make millions based on what I've taught them. And I've also got people who I've taught to trade who are like, hey man, like I paid for this surgery for my daughter right? Or I'm able to now stay at home with my kids more, like some crazy stuff. And so it's very cool for me. I want to help as many of you guys get there. Okay. Keep grinding. Go watch those old videos. And at the very least, if you want to show your boy some love, you know how to do it, right? Likes, comments, all that good shit. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, fucking Twitter. You know what to do. All right, guys. I'll talk to you in a couple days. I love you.